Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer and I'm playing Voidfall. And this is now the third and last cycle of the game. So during the second cycle we managed to expand here. We managed to destroy the fallen house of the game, and actually I just placed it on the side somewhere. Just wonder where it is. There we go. And actually I should have kept it next to my player board, because if you flip it you can see it gives you an additional spot for technology. So this allows me to get now an extra technology. And I managed also to get additional guilds, a lot of fleet power. We also managed to get lots of technologies here, especially combat technologies. We have now carriers, torpedoes. So we're kind of set up to do some additional attacks during the coming up turn. I want to definitely move in here and eventually take out this rift here. And maybe I'm considering getting to this harbinger here and getting rid of this one too. Now I'm not going to be able to, I don't know, take the whole map or anything. This is definitely not going to happen here. And I wonder how reasonable it is to maybe focus also a lot on just simply improving the empire that I have. There's a couple of things I should keep in mind. For example, the safe havens. The ones that are not... So we have two of them, and they each need 2 cubes to be filled. And for each haven that is not filled, our opponent gets 20 points. And you can only fill the havens if you have, at the end of the evaluation phase, either if you have these 6 population and 3 guild sectors. So here we are kind of close. But that would only allow us to put one cube in here. And with all the others, we are pretty far away from that. If we manage to get to one of the final technology spaces here, and that seems possible with the politics technology. We're just 2 spaces away from that. Or if we can overproduce twice during a turn. Right now, that is possible with the food. We produce a lot of food. But everything else, we're pretty far away here. So therefore, this is not going to be easy. Maybe we can fill one of them, but definitely not both. I'm pretty sure about that. But these are things I have to keep in mind when we go now into the last cycle. So I did construct the alert deck according to this, but here you can see on the lower right it says we have to place a harbinger token on the crisis board. So I'm going to place it here. You can choose if you want it here or here, but I'm going to place it here because I feel quite strong when it comes to these military crises. And then we have to remove one of the trade tokens. We got to go through the focus. We got to do we gotta add new heroic focus cards. So let's see what we get. The temptation. The development. And the innovation. Okay, so it's less about combat, more about kind of maybe improving the sectors and the technology. And then we got to remove all these. These advanced technologies are no longer available now. Instead, we're going to get these. So we have the robotics. The central surveillance. Carriers. And the orbital docks. All right. And then finally, we're going to get a new galactic event card. So let's see. We have the last stand. And this time we have 6 turns. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Okay, so the first card tells us, or the first part tells us to place corruption on an agenda slot twice. Okay, that's pretty bad. So one goes here, one goes here. So we have a ton of corruption on our player board now. And we definitely want to get rid of this. Then we have a 3 glory token on a Voidborn or Fallen House sector. So I guess I'm just going to place one here. So that will give me a lot of glory then. And then I'm allowed to deploy a unit and to place a guild. Okay, I can only place a guild here, and I can only do it because I got the arc ships. They allow me to place additional guilds. Now I wonder what type of guild I want to play. I'm thinking about maybe getting another energy guild. Not energy, what am I talking about? Science guild. It's not great. I mean, this is obviously a very low populated sector, but still, I have only 1 science production. So now I can increase this to 3, which is actually pretty good. And so the deployment is a bit of an issue. I think I'm going to get one in here. There we go. Oh, I can't do that because so I'm not sure actually. It doesn't say that it has to happen where there is a shipyard, but I think that's pretty much a given. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can only do it where there is a shipyard. So I'm just going to place one here. I'm not even sure if I want to do it. You know what? I'm not going to do that. Okay, so my goal is to get pure agendas. Oh, I think, I'm not absolutely sure, but I think I can basically score my pure agendas a second time. Yeah, that's what it says. Usually you can do it here anyway, but this one allows you to do it again. That's cool. The other option would be to get 3 victory points for a corrupted agenda, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. No, yeah, I think that's what happens here. Yeah. It's a little weird, but okay. So, there we go. And of course we get back our focus cards. And that means we're now ready for the last cycle. Okay, so let's draw an alert card first. Wow, that's cool. That's one alert. Some of these alert cards, the ones that are not used during a turn, the ones that are not drawn, they stay in the deck and the new cards are added. So therefore there was always this one alert from the first alert deck still in the deck, which is kind of cool, I think. Okay, we got depleting reserves. Okay, that's while resolving a production focus, choose to get rid of bounty tokens twice. So that would be an option, but to do this we have to produce. So we'll see. Okay, now let's figure out what we want to do during this turn. I'm pretty sure I'm going to attack here, but we'll see. Okay, you know what? I'm actually thinking about playing the production focus right now. So what this does is I'm gonna flip the trade marker so I can use all 3 actions here. And let me see. This card says choose to remove bounty tokens on the board twice. Okay, that is not an issue at all. I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to get rid of this. I'm not gonna attack there anyway, so that's cool. No problem at all. It was a simple card to resolve. Goes back into the deck. Now I'm gonna push this up 1 space, and that means I can increase my my population by 1 step. Now I'm thinking about doing it here, but on the other hand, maybe it's even better to do it here because I already produce a ton of food. I don't really need that right now anymore, but if I mean eventually I want to do it here because then I can get people to my safe haven, but I have time for a while to do this, so I want to do it here now. And so we got now 4 population in here, and let's see what else. There we go. This is the card. So now I can produce I can produce food, energy, and materials. So that means I can produce a ton of food, like 12 food, which brings me here to the maximum of 15. It's an overproduction. Sadly, I can only overproduce once this turn, which kind of sucks a little bit. Oh, I forgot to increase the production here by 1, here, and also here, because of the population increase. Now I can produce 3 energy and 3 materials. Nice. I get a victory point per guild, but only food, materials, and energy. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these guilds. So that brings me then to 107. And then I can remove, but that costs me 1 food and 1 energy. Oops, but that's okay. Then I can remove 1 of these. And I want to do that because I want to play this. And I want to be able to... Well, we'll see. Okay, so this goes away now. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. I just realized that. That's pretty awesome. Now I can bring this card into play because I played the production card. So I'm going to place that here now. This is a wealth agenda, the self-sustaining campaign. I don't have any other wealth agenda, so that's cool, I can do it. And that means I can now use... I can now do this. I'm not quite sure what that means, to be perfectly honest. I think I can produce in that specific sector. I gotta check that. Okay, I think I know what it means. I didn't check it, but I just realized I'm pretty sure what it means. I can place an additional guild and then produce that specific resource. Now, I can only place a guild here because of my arc ships. And now it might be not that clever. It would be, so the thing is, I'm going to place another food guild. That is not that great because I have massive food already, and it kind of raises this to, yeah, okay, this is the maximum production. I produce basically 15 now. But the cool part is I can produce now food again. So that means I overproduce a second time in a single turn. And that is exactly what that says here. You can see twice in overproduction. So that means I'm allowed to take one of these cubes and place them in one of these safe havens. That's super cool, because that is something that is really hard to do. And if I can at least fill up one of these safe havens, that would be great, because he gains 20 points for every unfilled safe haven. So that's worth for me this kind of yeah, it's definitely a bit of a waste, right? Producing all this food, but the safe haven is worth it. So Next turn, what's the alert card? Got a level 2 crisis, toxic bargain. Okay, so, oh, by the way, this thing goes back on here. After you give away a trade token, choose to also place a corruption on an agenda card. That is not good. I could also get rid of an installation and a guild at the end of this turn. And you know, I might actually really do that. We got so many food guilds. They feel, yeah, they're pretty useless to me. So maybe I'm going to do this. That might not be so bad. Okay. And it might even be useful to get rid of this installation here. I just have to pay maintenance for it. And if I take this turn here, I don't really, if I take this sector here, I don't really need that anymore. So maybe it's time to take that sector. Okay, still not attacking. I'm going to use my innovation card, the heroic innovation. The reason is I want to play the politics card for the attack. We have an invasion option here, but I also want to use the politics card to move the politics marker, and to do that I need a science resource, which I don't have at the moment. But if I play the innovation, I'm going to get that. So first I'm going to spend 4 food to do a research, and that allows me to take a basic technology, and I thought about taking the energy cells. So it says combat, if you deal 1 damage, 1 approach damage, as a defender, deal an additional approach damage. And that gives me 4 victory points. I could also spend energy to activate cubes. I don't have a lot of energy, so I'm not sure if this is something I actually want to do. Maybe I want to keep the energy for now, but I definitely get the 4 victory points. Okay. Nice. 111. Excellent. Then I'm allowed to produce credits, and what's more important for me now, science. So I can get 3 more credits, which brings me to 5, and 3 science, which brings me exactly to 3. Okay. Next, I'm going to do this experiment here, which allows me to get an advanced technology. And I'm going to take the carriers, and basically the difference is now that my carrier fleets are no longer limited in size. Before it was just they had a maximum power of 1, and now there is no more power. So what that says is I get 6 victory points again. So I mean overall these were 10 victory points now for... So I was at 11, so I should be at 17 now. And then I'm also allowed to activate a fleet, and I can bring a carrier into play. So that's what we're going to do right away. We're going to add a carrier to our carrier fleet here. All right, and then I'm allowed to remove a fleet power adjacent. Well, I'm not even sure what that means. On an adjacent space, I simply guess. So I'm going to remove this one here, and they only have 2 fleet power left. That's cool. Yeah, so I'm well prepared now for my politics move, finally. And so this card goes away. Now this here triggers the toxic bargain, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this defense platform, and I'm going to remove this food guild, and then I can get rid of this card. All right, that's it. Okay, we draw another card here, and we have a war. All right. So, and it's a war where the attack gives us an extra approach damage. So that's a pretty big one, because we have now 2 here. We have +1 because of the 3rd cycle, so that's 3. And we have another 3 here. So that means they would attack with a fleet power of 6, which is massive. And the problem is now, if I go here, there's not going to be any installation after the fight there. However, I could get rid of this card, because I would then have 5 fleet power. That's actually not. I have to move the fleet power there. I cannot conquer there. Oh man, that sucks. Still feels like I have to do it. Like I have to attack here. One of the problems is I really thought if I'm just adjacent with 5 fleet power to a single Harbinger, I could remove this card. But that is not correct. It says after you move fleet power, which is a specific action, and it's not invasion, then you have to do it. So to get in here, I'm not going to move my fleet power, I'm going to use the invasion action. So that kind of sucks. So I cannot simply get rid of this card. And I wonder how bad it is if I get attacked by that massive group. I mean, I think I'm still okay. I got my shields, I got my torpedoes, the carriers are pretty good. So I'm really thinking about just attacking here. I have no planetary defense if I attack here because it gets destroyed automatically, but maybe if I'm lucky I get a reclaim token that allows me to place a planetary defense in there. You know what? I'm gonna go for it. It is a bit risky, but I'm gonna take that risk. We don't know what's gonna happen, and eventually I want to take these 2 sectors. I don't want to wait forever here. So I prepared this for a bit, so let's do it finally. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to yeah, we play our politics card. So I'm going to spend 1 science to push this marker here. And that forces me now, if I want to get to the next tier, to deactivate a fleet power. And it allows me to upgrade one of these. So I can make one of these a 3, from a 2 to a 3. And then I'm pretty sure that says I'm allowed to draw a random marker. Let's check that quickly. No, it says score your total glory value. Oh, look at that. Ah, see. Okay, that's cool. So that means I get 6 glory points. 6 influence points. So that means that brings me to 23. Nice. Okay, that was the politics. And then I'm going to spend 2 energy and 1 credit. And that allows me again to upgrade a marker. So I'm going to upgrade this one to 4 now. Yeah, there we go. And then I'm allowed to do an invasion. So I can now move from all adjacent sectors in here. I'm going to leave 1 corvette power in there. I'm going to take, of course, my carriers with me. And I can also now take one of these with me. And I'm just going to leave 1 guy, 1 corvette power in here, just to make sure that this is not an abandoned system. Although there's not a lot of, yeah, okay. At the moment, I don't get a lot of advantages out of this, but okay. So now we have an attack, and it's pretty simple. Basically, we take. So the first thing is we take. Let me see. So we're in the approach phase now. So that means I take 1 damage per. I take 1 damage per planetary defense, but I can reduce that by 1 because of my shields. So that means I take 1 damage. That goes back in here. Then I have a carrier, and for each carrier I can basically now deploy a fleet in the sector, a corvette power, a corvette. So I'm going to place 2 here. Now I have 1 additional fleet in there. I can basically, I have to take another fleet marker and place it here. So I'm going to have to remove 1 by the end of that combat, or by the end of the turn, but that's okay. And now we're going to do the attack. I have initiative, obviously. I got a ton of guys in there. So I'm going to fire at this guy, and that means he only has now 1 left, 1 fleet power left. He's going to fire back. Now I got my shields, and then in the second round I can still fire and I destroy him. So that was easy. And we're going to destroy now, sadly, all the planetary installations here. So they all go away. We get these key tokens, which is great. So that means we can now score. Usually you cannot have more than 5, but I think this is here checked during the cleanup step. So I think for now, no more than 4, but we have 5, but I think that's okay for now. So that means we score 6, 10, 13 points. That's really, really good. Excellent. And then let's see what we get here. The bounty token gives us +1 resource of our choice. All right, what do I want? You know, I'm gonna go with another science here. And then let's see what the reclaim tokens give us. That is really cool. I'm gonna take a defense platform here and 2 victory points. Excellent. That's what I was hoping for. It will help me when I get attacked by during the war. Then the defense platform is great. Let's hope for something similar again. What is that? Okay, that's a little different now. We have materials, a material production in here. Okay, fine. And +1 of any resources. So I gotta adjust the material production. We got 4 guys living there. That's a big boost for my material production. So I produce now 5. And I can choose 1 resource, and I'm gonna take the credits, I think. Okay. Great. So that was pretty good, pretty successful here. That was my politics card, and now we got to deal with the war. Okay, so we got +1 approach damage. That's the important thing here. We have 2, 3 for the cycle, and another 3 because of all the corruption in our of our house. So we have basically 6 guys that attack. Okay, let's use our standard way to do it. Okay, so we got 6 dudes, and so we go to the approach step. Now during the approach step, they deal 1 approach damage because of that special war card, but I got my shields which allow me to absorb that first damage. Alright, but because I got the planetary defense, I also deal an approach damage, and because I got the energy cells, I deal an additional approach damage. So that means I already killed 2. Okay, that's fine. And by the way, I should have checked for the fleets now before the war is handled. So therefore, I got to remove 1 of these because I can only have 4. So this goes back in here. And I got to get rid of 1 of these tokens. Okay, so we did the approach step. Now we come to the salvo step. I have 5 fleet power. They have 4. So therefore, I have initiative. So I attack. I do a damage. In addition, I got my torpedoes, which means I can do another damage. All right. Then they fire back, and I have my shields which give me 1 salvo damage. So this is now the first salvo they do. So I can absorb that. Then we go to the next turn, and I'm going to do another salvo at them. So I destroy an additional one of them. They still have 1 left, so they fire back. And this time I got my carriers, and they are really good. For each carrier I can take 1 salvo absorption. So no problems here whatsoever. I simply swallow that too, and now I can destroy the last one. That's a very, very powerful fleet there. And honestly, it really feels a little bit underwhelming. I got a feeling that maybe I play that wrong, but I don't think so because I checked the rules. But these skirmishes really feel extremely easy. I mean, now the thing is, of course, maybe that is because of the map. Because the map situation with all the void storms and so forth, the map is laid out in a way that there is only I don't have to protect multiple spaces. So I can basically only leave my main fleet in here, and that's it. If there would be 2 or 3 spaces that would be valid targets, that would be a whole different story. So therefore, I think it's actually okay, and it's just that specific map that is a little bit easier to play here. Okay, so we're doing good here. The war is done. Okay, so now I'm going to play the heroic development. And because I got my robotics, I can double the cost. But before I do this, I have to actually draw an alert card. Oh, cool, that's another 1. That's great. So it says, whoa, that is fine. After you place, because that's something I wanted to do anyway, after you place guild, choose to remove a bounty token and a reclaim token. Okay, I'm okay with that. That's pretty easy going. Burning bridges, it says. So, what I want to do is, I have to spend double the cost to do one of my focus actions. Okay. So what I want to do is, first of all, I want to increase my population. So we got to spend 2 energy, 2 materials. So let's do that. Then I'm allowed to place a guild. Okay, what guild do I want? So thinking about that, there might be still a chance to overproduce somehow. So maybe let me see. Yeah, I think I'm going to place an extra materials guild. I'm going to place that here. And that then also allows me to raise the population there. So now I'm maxed out here in this sector. I have a 6 and I have 3 guilds. Now that means that during the during this evaluation round, I can place an additional cube in a safe haven. So I can now definitely fill one of these safe havens, if not for any reason things should be destroyed in here. That's nice. Then I have to add 6 material production. So that means I would be at 14. I don't think that's even possible. Yeah, 13 is the maximum. That means I produce now 15 material. That is super cool. I think I was here at 3. Or was I at 9? I think I was. Let's count that quickly. Oh yeah, I can increase this anyway. So that is 10. I'm at 10 credit production. And I have now even more food production, but that doesn't matter anymore. I got 6, 10. Oh, I forgot to reduce the fruit production when I removed the guild. But I'm still at 10, which is a lot. So if I can now produce materials and food during a single turn, that means I could overproduce twice, and also that means that I could place an additional cube in a safe haven. So this is a good thing. Then I'm going to spend a science resource, and I could do this twice. I'm down to 1 now, and I can do it twice because of the robotics, and that allows me now to remove one of these markers, a corruption marker, and also to place an installation in that sector. So I'm going to place another. I wonder if I think I want to actually place a shipyard there, or do I go with a defense platform? Maybe a defense platform is more useful, because eventually I have to move over here. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with a second defense platform, because this sector might get attacked. On the other hand, I get 2 points for every sector with a shipyard. Yeah, I'm going to take a shipyard. Fuck it. There we go. I prefer that. Okay, great. I want the 2 points here. And that allows me then to raise the population here by 1. No, that's not true. This is not true. I don't know. No. I could remove that and place a token there. That's it. And then here, I can do the same. So I'm going to remove this. This is now another pure sector. And I'm also going to place a shipyard here. And I'm actually still not sure. I have a feeling that I prefer a defense platform there. It's really at the front lines. So yeah, I want to put a defense platform there. And I already get a shipyard here. So that's cool. Okay, that was great. That gave me a lot of 2 more pure sectors. It took away pure corrupted population from the opponent. So that was a really cool card here. Okay, and I didn't I? Wait a second. I placed here a Yeah, I placed here a guild, so that means I can now simply choose to remove a bounty token and a reclaim token, and then I can get rid of this card. Okay, so I kind of planned my last 2 turns. I hope I don't get too much trouble with the crisis cards. 3 is not good. Let's see what we get. After resolving a reinforcement focus, have all tech tracks pure or corrupted in 1 or higher. Well, I don't have that. Okay, so that's not good. Slow but steady. We'll see what we do with that. For now, I don't care. I want to do my conquest. So I want to... I gotta sow, that's all pretty expensive. But okay, I'm going to spend 2 energy. I'm going to spend 1 credit and 1 energy to do the conquest. And I'm going to attack the rift here. And the way I do this is I'm going to move in with 1 carrier. So 1 remains here. And I think I'm going to move in with 2 corvettes. That should do it. Okay, great. So, let's see what that means. They will... yeah. Okay, so they will now... First, I can place another corvette from my carrier in here during the approach step. But first I get attacked by the planetary defense. That doesn't matter. I got my shields. I have now, because they have a fleet power of 3, that means I have now an advantage. So I shoot them first, and because I got my torpedoes, I can do another shot. They will fire back, and I have my shields, so that's it. I don't care. Okay, great. This thing is now removed, and I'm going to place it here, I guess. I can choose where I want to place that. So they have a Harbinger less, and now I can choose to remove a corruption or to gain 5 resources. I'm going to go with a corruption, and I'm going to remove a corruption somewhere here. Let's get rid of this one. Okay, now I'm allowed to flip this tile. You can see it here. And it becomes a regular tile, and it is no longer a rift tile. And that means he doesn't get the 30 points for this tile. He will get the 30 points for that tile, so that kind of sucks, but okay. And now I have the 3 points here, so that allows me now to score 9, 11, 15 points. So that brings me to, that's 3, 143. Excellent. But we're not done yet. I can now move my fleet. So I can redistribute this, and I'm not sure what I want to do here. So if I would get attacked now by a skirmish, I would have +2 here and 2 here, so it would be 4, and another one for the cycle, so it would be 5. I mean, it still would be fine here, here. It's not that easy. Here it would be an issue, actually. Would love to get a defense platform there. Oh, there is actually no... Wow, that's weird. There's not a single population in there? That's crazy. Let me check that. So I checked the glossary again, and it says you flip it and then you place 1 pure population here. Okay. Then I'm allowed to move the fleet. Honestly, I don't think I want to do that. I want to hold this sector, and I'm going to need my ships here. I'm pretty sure about that. Okay, then I can take an agenda card and wait a second, I'm not sure what I was it this one? Yeah, I think I wanted to take that, because if I play that, it allows me to score this track here instead of this track. So that's a better option for me. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take this in my hand, and then I'm allowed to shift corruption. So I could take this and place it somewhere else. I'm not sure where I want to place that. I wonder if I can actually place it here. I wouldn't care too much if there is 1 corrupted population there. I mean, on the other hand, I get 3 victory points per pure sector. What if I put it here? I could also place it on one of these. Maybe I'm going to place it here. Yeah, I think I'm going to place it here. I don't think I'm going to advance this track anymore. Yeah, so I think I'm going to place that there. And yeah, I think I'm okay. I have 4 agendas now. My corruption is better. So I think that looks fine. So that was my conquest action. And we got one last... here's the thing, right? We got that stupid crisis card. What am I going to do with that? I don't really want that, because at the end I'm going to have to face an attack, and it's not going to be great. Let's see, let's calculate that a little bit. So I'm pretty sure I'm safe here, right? There's no issues here. what about this sector? So at the moment, the attack value would be... Oh, wait a second. Yeah, okay, let's see. It would be 2, 3, 5. So let's assume I get attacked by 5 dudes here. What would happen? So I would do 1 approach damage, which brings them to 4. We would both have the same fleet power, so we would attack each other. That means, yeah, okay, I'm going to win that. I'm pretty sure about that. My shields would simply be strong enough. So I'm actually thinking about, I wonder if I should take that thing as an additional military crisis, or if I should accept these 2 technologies to be removed from the game here. The thing is that each technology that gets removed is worth 5 points for the other guy. I don't really want that. So, that's a tough choice. Okay, you know what? I'm going to place this here as a military crisis, and I might actually lose this area again. But that's not so bad. I mean, it gives him only like 1 victory point for this population. I lose 3, so that's not good, but otherwise he would get 10 victory points, right? And that is definitely not worth it. It's a shame. If I had a planetary defense there, I would be in a much better position, but sadly I don't. So, right, I mean, there's not a lot I can do right now, I think. Yeah, okay, well, I wonder... okay, screw it. Okay, so let's see what the last alert card shows. That is a 2. Okay, there we go. Disharmony in leadership. When you get a... an agenda, choose to forfeit taking its action. Okay, maybe I'm going to do that. So, this goes here. And now, let's see what was my plan for the last turn here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I wanted to play the Heroic Temptation card. And first, I'm gonna spend 4 resources. So let me see, I want to spend, well, it doesn't really matter, I guess. I'm just going to spend 4 and I'm going to get back 4. So I don't care here, it doesn't matter. And then, just a moment. Then I want to play this politics card, or this politics action, Inspire. Remember, I can do one of my preferred focus action, and politics is one of them. So I'm going to spend my last research here. And then I'm going to move this here. I got to bring back 2 fleet power and from what I understand, it is okay to bring fleet power from the map onto here. I have to check this, but I'm pretty sure that this is possible. It doesn't have to come from here. I think you can take it from the map. You know, actually it might not be possible to do that. And that sucks. I thought you could simply voluntarily remove that, but I think this is not an option. It says in case when you must deactivate it, then you have to take it from the map, but it doesn't say that it's an option. So I gotta rethink this whole thing. So that's an interesting one. That's actually the first time I had to check a rules question of this game. And it says here, if the and this is Nigel Buckle, so this is the designer himself. And he answers if the cost is deactivate. So the question was basically, if it's okay to undeploy or to recall fleet power if you have still active fleet power, so you do it instead. But he said no, that's not possible. If the cost is deactivate active fleet power, you do that. Only if you cannot, due to no active fleet power, then you have to recall fleet power and deactivate that instead. So that seems that you can do it to pay the cost of an action. That's something he says here pretty clear. So it seems you can do it if you don't have any active fleet power. That's the way I read it here. And that's the way that works for me best. So let's do that. So again, we do this. I pay 4 of anything. It really doesn't matter. Well, you know, maybe it actually does matter. There might be an interest for me to get more credits. Let's see, because here it says for each 3 credits, I get 4 points. So maybe if I do that in a clever way. The thing is, I still want to overproduce. So I gotta be careful here. I want to be able to overproduce. So I produce 8. So if I want to overproduce, I need at least 8 here. So let's say I pay 3 food. And I can afford to pay 1 material, and then I can grab 4 credits instead. Okay, yeah, so that is exactly what happens here. You pay 4 of any, and then you get back 4. So that's cool. And then I'm allowed to use this action. And I'm going to spend now here a science resource. So I kind of undid that before because I wasn't sure if I could do it. And now I'm allowed to play this here. So that's kind of cool. And that means I got to remove 2 fleet power, and I'm going to remove them here. I'm going to lose this sector anyway, I'm pretty sure about that. And that allows me also to score one of my cards here. And let me see. That's a shame that, you know, maybe I should leave 1 fleet power here, but I cannot. That doesn't really work. It seems I have to take them both from here, yeah. That's a shame because there are no longer 3 here. Because each sector with 3 fleet power gives me 7 points. That would be really neat. But it looks like I don't have any fleet power with 3 at the moment. That is a shame. So maybe I should score instead something else. Maybe simply this card here. Now, wait a second. I think it's a non... Or is it my starting? It might actually be my starting agenda. That's interesting. That is this one. I'm not sure. I gotta check that. Okay, so I checked it and it's a pure non-starting agenda. And I want to score the self-sustaining campaign. So I got more than 3 glory points. That gives me 4. And then I have overall 8. It's a shame. I wish I had one more. Maybe I could have done that more cleverly, but okay, I don't want to be too crazy now. I want to score... I can score 8 points for that, because I have... Yeah, for every 3 I have 8, so that means I can score twice the number down here. So overall I'm going to score 12 points for this. That's cool. And what's even better is that I'm allowed now to place another cube in here. So if you reach level 4, it's hard to see from here, but I cannot get any closer. If you reach level 4 here, then you are allowed to place a cube in a safe haven. And if you fill a safe haven, you got these actions available. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove a harbinger. So this simply goes out of play. Okay. So that is simply my benefit for filling a safe haven, and he doesn't get the 20 points for not filling a safe haven. Okay, so that was the exploit action. Next, I want to play the exert action. So I have to get rid of an agenda already in play. And this is going to be my commercial syndicate. I'm going to get rid of this card. That allows me now to bring another fleet power into play and to deploy 1 fleet power. And you know what? I'm going to deploy 1 here, because then I have 3 fleet power in this sector. I should have done it the other way around, but okay. Anyway, and this will be helpful when it comes to this, to the intensive warfare agenda. And then I'm allowed to produce twice, but not the same resource. And here's the cool part. Here, with the materials, I produce 15. I have 2, so that means I will definitely overproduce. And the same thing I do with my food. That brings me to 16 then. So yeah, I also overproduce here. Overproduction, and that is something I forgot. Whenever I overproduce, I get 3 victory points. That's actually indicated here. I overproduced already 3 times in this game before. And I already corrected this. So now we get another 6 points. So that brings me then to 170. And because I overproduced twice in a single turn, that allows me to place another cube on a safe haven. There you go. Cool. And now I'm done with this temptation card. And because I played the temptation card, I'm now allowed to play this one here, which is the federal authority. And I'm going to place this now here. This would give me an invade action, but I'm going to forfeit this action, and therefore I get rid of this card, of this crisis card. And that's it. Okay, yeah, that was pretty much the last action of the game. So now we go to the evaluation phase. Yeah, we had our 6 turns here. We had 6 turns in the last stand. So now let's see what we have. First we got to deal with the board here. So that means we have a military crisis, and this is going to be pretty rough. We have here now a fleet power of 3 plus 1, because it's the third cycle, makes 4, plus 2 is 6. That's not good. They will attack here. Let's do it again. We have now here 3, 5, 6. Okay. We don't have any planetary defense. They attack, they have clearly initiative because we only have 2 fleet power. So they will attack, and we can take the first damage with the shields from our corvette. Then we fire back. There we go. We destroyed the first one. They still have initiative because they still have 5. They attack again. We can take this shot with the absorption capacity of our carrier. Okay, and then we fire back and we destroy the next one. They still have initiative, and yeah, now we're fucked. They attack, they destroy our corvette here, so the fleet power goes back. We fire back, we destroy one of theirs. They still have the initiative. They attack our carrier, and it is destroyed. Fleet power goes back, and that's it. This sector now becomes abandoned, and that means that now the Voidborn will take over. So this becomes corrupted. I'm gonna have to check. I think they get 1 fleet power there, and I gotta check if something else crazy happens. Okay, so actually it would be a fleet token with 2 fleet power, and we also would place a bounty token in there. Okay, so that was the military crisis, and we've lost the battle here. Now we got to deal with the and yeah, damn, I made a mistake, it seems. We got to deal now with this crisis here, and we got to spend 1 materials, 1 energy, and 1 resource. The problem is I don't have the science resource. I could have easily gotten that, but I didn't completely think this through. So therefore, got to spend this. I don't have the energy, but I can pay for it with credits. That's fine, but I cannot pay for science. Therefore, I'm going to lose 3 victory points. that was stupid and totally unnecessary, because I could choose with this one card here what I wanted to produce, but okay, I don't think it will change the outcome of the game in the end too much. Okay, so that was my economic crisis, and that's that part. Now I got to pay upkeep, and I'm gonna have to pay, let's see, 1, 2, 3, and here I have to pay 8. That's a lot. So I'm gonna have to spend 11 food. And I can do this. I have 15 food, so that brings me down to 4. Okay, so there we go. Now I can check, do I have a system with 6, a pure system with 6 citizens and 3 guilds? And that is the case here, and therefore I'm allowed to place another one of my inactive cubes in this area here in a safe haven. So this is now my second safe haven, which is filled, and I get the reward, which means I can remove another harbinger from the board. So there's no more harbinger on the board now, which is really nice. Okay, let's go on. We can do this now. I will do the first option here. I'm going to score a pure agenda card. And let's see which one is my best option. So yeah, the federal authority is the new agenda that I just brought into play. That is the best one, simply because it counts my political progress, and that is maxed out. So I can simply, it's 4 times 4, so I get 16 points for that. Sadly, I don't have 2 sectors with 5 population. I have a couple with 4, but only one with 6, and yeah, none with 5 or more, just one with 5 or more. So that's a bit of a shame, but still, I get 16 points, which is really, really good. All right. So that was this part here. And now we score the overall agendas, all of them, and yeah, then this is our final scoring, and then we have to score the other guy, the opponent. Okay, let's do our starting agenda first. Pure sectors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's already 15 points. Every sector with a defense system gives me a point. So we got one here, another one here. So we get 2 more points. Every sector with a shipyard gives me 2 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4. That's another 8. Wow, that's pretty good. So that means No, that is not true. It's 189. Okay, that's my starting agenda. Now we do the intensive warfare. And that means, do we have 3 sectors with shipyards or star bases? And yes, we do. So that gives me 6 points. So that means now I'm at 204. I have also 1 sector with 3 fleet power, so that's another 7 points. All right. The federal authority. Well, we already said I don't get anything for this, but I get 16 points for my political advancement. That's 27. Okay. Self-sustaining campaign. We got 3 glory tokens, so that's another 4 points. And we got 7 credits, so therefore that's 8 points. And that's it. 249. That's my final result. Now we got to check what the opponent has. Okay, so we have a medium complexity here, which means he starts with 100 points, plus 30 points per rift, which is still on the board. There we have one. Okay. Plus 20 points per haven, per safe haven, which is not filled. And as you can see, these beautiful safe havens are all filled with my cubes. So he doesn't get anything here. Plus 20 points for catastrophe tokens that you would gain if you lose control over this crisis board. But we didn't use any one here. Plus 10 points for every harbinger on the board, on the map. There is no harbinger on the map. The ones here do not count. 5 points for every lost technology. If I remember that right, there was no lost technology. No, that was this one here, but I didn't do it. I didn't give the technologies away, so nothing here. 5 points for every crisis card that is unresolved. So there are 3 on the board. That gives him 15 points. All right. 3 points for every fallen house that is left on the board. Well, we've destroyed this fallen house, which was located here. 2 points for every corruption on the player board. So that means he gets another 4 points for that. And finally, we count all the corrupted population on the board and add this. So that's 8 in these 2 sectors, 6. So that brings it to 14, 18, 19. So that means gets another 19 points, and his final score is 168 against 249. So that was an easy win. Great. Yeah, happy about that. Next time I'm going to try the highest difficulty, I guess. And maybe also a more complex map and a more complex house. So there's definitely ways to amp this up quite a bit. Okay, so that's the end of the series. And I had to say I really enjoyed it. It was great to be back, to do videos again. I had a lot of fun, and I really loved this game. I don't want to say too much, just a few final thoughts. Component-wise, I mean, there is this deluxe edition and there's the standard edition. It's important to keep in mind that the standard edition contains the same gameplay content that you get with the deluxe edition. There is no other content when it comes to gameplay. Now, there's a few things that I love about the deluxe edition, but you can, as I mentioned, you can get them also individually, basically. And these were these metal tokens. I think they're so cool. I really wanted them to this adds for me a bit to the experience. I think they're really nice. When it comes to the ships, I don't like the ships of the basic edition. I think they look terrible. I already mentioned this during my intro. So I used my Eclipse ships here, which were totally fine. I think they look even better than the ships that you get with the miniatures pack from the deluxe edition. So I'm totally fine with this solution here. And yeah, the other thing that I did was that I have these standees that I took from Arkham Horror for my... usually you only have these harbingers like this, and then you place them here. And I mean, it's okay too, but I kind of prefer it like this so that I can see a little more from the artwork. That's it. That's all. I think it's really good components. Even just the standard edition, fantastic. And I think that, honestly, I think the deluxe edition is a little overpriced if you think about what you get. I mean, this is really solid cardstock here. This is nothing cheap or something. You really get good quality even in the standard edition. And even these markers here, they come with the standard edition too. So yeah, I'm totally happy with that. The artwork is also great. I mean, there is not that much. You have a lot of these icons everywhere. But where you do have the artwork, I think it looks really cool. And it gives it a really special touch, right? It's a very unique style. And yeah, I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm totally happy with this. It's really good artwork. And well, gameplay wise, I mean, let's face it, it's a Euro, right? I mean, this is nothing else than a massive, insane optimization puzzle. And that's it. There is the theme is, I mean, it's there, and I don't. It doesn't feel well tapped on in a too obnoxious way. It works really well with the theme. I think this 4X works great with the mechanics you have, and the iconography fits well with this sci-fi theme and all. So this all works fine, and I don't feel offended by an impression that there is a complete disconnect between theme and mechanics. I think this is not the case here at all. But it is clearly not a thematic game, but a huge puzzle. And usually I don't like that much, but I have to admit, in the recent months, I more and more enjoy these kind of games. I really despised them a couple of years ago, but now I can really see the appeal of these games. And I have to say, if I'm going to play a Euro game, it has to be something which is really extremely heavy and really gives you a massive brain burner. And that's what this game does. So I'm totally happy with it. You get a massive replay value out of it. You got all these different houses. You got different technologies which are randomly determined during each game. You've got all these different crisis cards, the different agendas, the different galactic events that you have. I mean, there is really tons of scenarios. I can absolutely recommend this game. It's expensive, but you really get a lot of game for your money. So if you're into Euros, if you like this puzzly stuff, this is great. This is perfect. This is heaven for you. Okay, yeah. Hope to see you on the next video. Bye.